everyone, my name is Tyler, and today we're looking at the CLX Horus gaming PC. Now before we dive into this, I want to mention that CLX did provide this system to me to review. If you've been following my Twitch stream, you'll know it has recently replaced my personal rig for this review. That being said, no money exchanged hands, and my opinions are completely my own. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below, and I'd be happy to answer them for you. Now, onto the review. To start, the Horus is part of the mid-size form factor family of systems offered by CLX. This review will be in two parts. One about the machine itself, its performance, build quality, and price. The second part will be about CLX's PC building tool. So let me start by saying a CLX PC is geared towards those who don't want to build their own PC, but rather pick the parts and have someone else build it for them, aka a system integrator. So if you're looking to get a top-of-the-line PC without the hassle of building it yourself, you're in the right place because the Horus is an absolute beast. Now, I do want to mention that CLX also offers RTS systems, which stands for Ready to Ship, which are systems pre-built and configured for a variety of uses and usually ship quicker if you simply can't wait for your system to be built. Those systems are great for people who simply want to get up in gaming as quick as possible. Alright, so let's talk specs. My Horus came configured with an AMD Ryzen 9 5900X 12-core CPU, RTX 3090, 32GB of DDR4 memory, and roughly 4 TB of overall storage. The system came with CLX's own AIO liquid cooler, 360mm radiator, and a gorgeous inverted Evo case from Lian Li. Now, some of you may not know what an inverted setup is. An inverted setup means the entire computer assembly is essentially mounted 180 degrees from its normal position, meaning the GPU resides up top, the CPU on the bottom, and the motherboard mounted on the opposite side of the case. This requires an inverted specific case in order to work, so don't go trying this at home. But what are the benefits of an inverted setup? Well, most notably, an inverted setup means that the heat from your GPU no longer rises up into the CPU, which instead rises up into the exhaust fans, reducing the amount of hot air being moved over the CPU pump. Outside that, the aesthetic alone is enough to make you go, wow, when you first see it for the first time. Is it going to drastically change your performance or your thermals? No. But does it look awesome? Yes, and now you know. Moving on to the build quality. The Horus came packaged in two main boxes, one outer shipping box and one inner product box with an ample amount of foam padding to protect it. Inside the system itself was expanding packing foam that perfectly formed around the sensitive parts of the system to avoid any shipping mishaps. I gotta say, as a PC builder for over 10 years, I was extremely impressed with the amount of packaging and the build quality, especially given the shipping. I have seen several other pre-built systems in my time, but CLX by far has been the best in my opinion in terms of overall packaging and build quality. You could tell the builders know what they're doing and actually care about the aesthetic of your system, taking care to avoid ugly cable slack or the dreaded bowing rear panel. My system arrived with clean cable management as if I'd done it myself. Now, I'm no professional cable manager, but CLX definitely passes my test in cable management and overall build quality. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below if you think CLX did a good job cable managing this build. In terms of the appearance, I mean, that's simply going to be subjective. This also depends on your configured build. There are several case options for the Horus, so pick what you like. Personally, I love the case they've chosen for me, and even considered buying this case for my personal rig once I send this one back because no, I don't get to keep it. That being said, I think CLX did a great job filling the case appropriately given the components to where the build feels full and proper. Nothing is jammed in or barely fitting. It's clean, simple, and of course full of RGB. CLX equipped the system with their own RGB lighting setup, which includes its own remote as well as a dozen RGB fans, pump, motherboard, all of which sync together to give you this awesome little experience when you power it on. I mean, what more could you ask for? Don't like RGB? Simply configure your system without it in the configurator and boom. Now you got a minimalist system and some extra change for other more important components. All right, so enough about the looks. Let's talk about how it performs. With the given spec list, it actually comes really close to my personal rig being an i9 12900K, EVGA RTX 3090, 32GB of DDR5 memory, and a 360mm AIO cooler. Let me start by saying I literally can't tell the difference. In my day-to-day streaming and gaming workflow, I couldn't once see the difference between the two systems. And I stream a ton of Star Citizen, which, by the way, you should come check that out. We're going to the right place this time, guys. in
4K resolution
at max settings, and the Horus absolutely crushes it with no issues at all while streaming at 60 FPS through OBS. At most, I'm seeing 2% CPU usage from OBS when streaming. It's insane. Not even chat could tell the difference until I told them, so you know it's a good system. For those of you who don't know, Star Citizen is a very power-hungry game and is often compared to Crysis when it comes to whether or not your PC can even play it. It's quite literally the new can it play benchmark, and the Horus had no issues with it. So I can confidently say that should you configure your system similar to mine, you'll be able to play any game on the market in 4K without any issue and even stream it if you like. A win-win for everyone. Well, except your wallet. That then begs the question. What's the price? Well, high performance and seamless gaming don't come without a price, and even with the drop in PC parts prices recently, this Horus configuration comes in at roughly $4,000. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, and well, it is. But consider this. This system is built to play any AAA title at 4K max settings while also having the power to stream it all at 60 FPS without sounding like a jet engine or needing a designated streaming PC. So you tell me if that price makes sense, because you're basically getting 2 PCs in one. I understand that price is way outside the range of most people watching this, but this leads me into the second part of the video, the CLX configurator. Now that you've seen the top of the line, you're probably wondering, do I need all that? The answer is no. Remember, I'm a professional content creator and PC enthusiast, so having that level of power, even in my personal system, is a must for my job. But if you're a casual gamer who wants the best possible experience on your personalized budget, then that's where the CLX configurator comes into play. So, let's walk through it, shall we? Now, in an effort to keep this video short, I'm not going to dive into the nitty-gritty, but instead review the site as a whole, showing you the major features and giving you my opinion on the building experience. Alright, so if you head over to clxgaming.com, you will be presented 4 specific options promptly labeled Evoke the Gods. Now, this is CLX's way of making it simple for you to parse out which kind of system best suits you. The Set being the entry-level family, the Scarab being their small form factor family, the Horus, which we already covered, and finally, the god to rule them all, Raw, which is CLX's top-of-the-line, full-size systems. Now, a little disclaimer. The Raw line of systems is where custom liquid cooling is introduced, and thus prices will begin to skyrocket like the price of gas because, well, at this point, you're simply looking for not only the best performing, but the best looking system money can buy. But to summarize, Set systems are entry-level, Scarab is small form factor, Horus is mid-size, and the Raw just exists for people who are simply insane. Me. I'm people. Anyway, clicking on any of the gods will show you their starting prices ranging from $750 up to, well, pretty much whatever you want. I personally recommend staying within the Scarab and the Horus, pending what games you play. If all you play is esports titles at 1080p like Valorant, CSGO, League of Legends, Rocket League, then maybe stick to the Set, especially if you're on a budget. The beauty of these systems is that if you want to in the future, you could easily open them up and upgrade them yourselves, as there are no proprietary parts like you might find with other brands. That's actually what I did. It's a great way to teach yourself PC building without screwing it up the first time. So once you've settled on a god that will ultimately consume your soul, you can hit the Customize button, which will then take you to the configurator. Once you're in, you'll see a number of things, but don't touch anything yet. So there are 5 main categories on the configurator: chassis, core, the foundry, software, and accessories, each of which have subsections that give you your selections. Chassis is going to be the look and feel as noted on the button. This is where you'll pick your case, your fans, things of that nature. Core is going to be the guts of the system: your CPU, GPU, RAM, etc. The foundry is where you can have CLX do some tuning or overclocking for you if you like. But I usually skip these things because I personally like to break my own equipment. But if you want every ounce of power out of your new system, then CLX will do it for you, risk-free, and probably professionally. Software is going to be your OS and any additional software you want preloaded. And finally, accessories is where if you're already spending $1,000, why not toss in some peripherals, a chair, or heck, even a sarcophagus. Yes, a sarcophagus. It's a thing. Really, no, seriously, it's real. It's badass, and you definitely want it, even though mine didn't come with one. Above all those buttons, you'll see your system overview as you change parts as a constant reminder of where you've been and where you're going, as well as any conflicts with parts you have selected, because obviously CLX can't build you a system with incompatible parts, right? It's their way of nicely telling you that you done goofed and you need to go back and make some changes before you're even allowed to check out. It's basically like having PC Part Picker, but just built in. Next to that, you'll see some estimated FPS numbers for popular titles, which you can change based on what you play most. I find this most helpful for those who know nothing about PC building and just want to know if they'll be able to get yelled at by children in Fortnite at 144 frames per second, or who knows, get grief by that one guy in Fall Guys. Well, and the answer is yes. Yes, you can. Free of charge, honestly. Now, there is a ton more inside this tool I could show you, but maybe we'll save that for another video. So if you're interested in learning more about CLX's configurator, make sure to like this video and subscribe to be notified if and when it decides to go live. The last thing I want to mention about CLX's building experience is that you can also use Affirm to pay for your system over a period of time in monthly payments as opposed to all at once. CLX understands that PC gaming isn't cheap, and offering a payment plan with 0% interest lowers that barrier to entry, which I personally think is awesome, as I know many friends who use Affirm for many things because it's used widely across many shopping sites, so it's nice to see CLX include this in here as well. So that's going to be it for the Horus from CLX. Again, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, and always make sure to subscribe to see more content like this. Also, make sure to follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date on all things 24 Concept. Until then, see you in the next one.